I personally tried for years to fit in society's mold. It never worked for me. Now, a lot of multi-passionates, if not almost all of them, they are actually undiagnosed ADHDers. Job roles, businesses, all these things are blending together now. This is some sort of a factory mindset. What the heck? Now, people like literally text me, be like, I love what you do, you're so inspiring. I finally feel seen and heard. There you go. If you ever felt broken because you can't stick to one thing, this video is for you. Now I get it. You're probably exactly here. You're feeling guilty because you're having too many interests. You're being told to pick one thing, but feeling miserable when you actually try. And you're actually feeling like you're wasting your time or falling behind. Now let me be brutally honest with you. I personally tried for years to fit in society's mold. It never worked for me. From masking to people pleasing to just pick one thing, I did it all. And you might too if you're watching this video. So by the end of this video, you will see why being a multi-passionate is actually your superpower and not a flaw. Now let's dive into this. And by the way, if you're new here, hi, my name is Adriana-Morena and I'm an ADHD and multi-passionate brand strategist for nearly 5 years. First of all, let's talk about the whole specialization part, because obviously that comes from somewhere. And there's actually a strategy behind you thinking or making you believe that you have to pick one thing. It's the society, it's the school, and even well-known mentors and coaches and educators push the idea of niching down, picking one thing. And basically, this is some sort of a factory mindset, let's say, okay, of the educational system we have. Because the system is built in a way to build people to become workers and not innovators. But if we think about all the great people who actually make it, whatever making is for you, but like, you know, outgrow the societal standards and become billionaires, millionaires, or whatever known person, they actually made it that far to break out of this factory mindset. Now, let me give you an analogy. Because we were somehow taught to be like a factory-made product. Let's take that example. They basically all have one function and one purpose. But multi-passionates, ADHDers, creatives aren't machines. Do you know these Swiss knives? You can see yourself more like an army Swiss knife. You know, it has multiple functions, multiple purposes. And I'm also seeing this whole transitioning to the whole Swiss army knife function, multifunctional way, not only when it comes to building a business and so on, it really transfers right now into the entire job market as well. Now is the time for multi-passionates to shine. Like, even if you're like, I don't even want to build a business, well, you don't have to anymore. There are so many jobs out there these days that require multiple skills. And I remember years ago when I applied for jobs, they wanted you to be good in one thing. Like, that was how it was working. You're either a software engineer or you are a UX UI designer. Ideally, even just a UI designer. And so obviously, if you work in larger corporations like maybe Google or somewhere else, you probably have the roles where you're like just UI designer because you have multiple people working on one thing. Now, this might not be a place for you anyways, because you probably would get bored at day one, okay? But if we think about the entire job market in general, I had a friend and he's a software engineer and he was applying for a job, and here's what happened. They wanted him to submit a task and it was about a game he had to design, and so he designed the game or coded it. Now, they denied at the end, and the reason was not that the app wasn't well coded because he's writing a good code. It was that they wanted him to design the app. So they required him to do the UI design. What the heck? That person is already a full stack engineer, but they still yet wanted him to be even more. You know, full stack, we have the front end, we have the back end. That's already a lot. Like, you can be just a front end developer. You can just be a back end developer. He's already both. And yet still they required him to also be a UI designer. Very interesting. And this is a repeated pattern on the job market right now, especially if you're working with startups. And we see that even more. You are like one person, you do multiple things. And so I have another friend and she applied for a role as a marketer. And they actually required her to also be very good at Photoshop for a marketing role. They actually wanted her to already do coding, like CSV and HTML. So basically, now is your time to shine, even if you're like, I don't want to build a business. Job job roles, businesses, all these things are blending together now. And there was the time of like Sigmund Freud and Albert Einstein. You can watch my video about my Q&A. I'll post it in the description below because this is literally where I talk about exactly that topic. And so that was kind of like the time of the multi-passionates when the system wasn't as evolved as today. And then we had the past, I don't know, probably 50 years plus, where we kind of like got way more structure, so many rules. The system was really like developing at where it wanted us to become workers. And so the phase of being a multi-passionate somewhat died. But we're back, stronger than ever, because yes, we have AI, but AI basically gives us the standpoint of being a multi-passionate back. Soon we will see the one-sided, one-thinkers and the somewhat more boring people, the experts, they will get to the point where they fear for their future. So this video is an official call out to you that now is your time. The world is evolving and multi-passionates are built for the future and the present. Now let's talk about a topic because I think that might be interesting. Now a lot of multi-passionates, if not almost all of them, they are actually undiagnosed ADHDers. Yes, I said it out loud, controversial, I know. Drop it in the comments, let's discuss this. But here is the reason why I believe it's hard for neurodivergent people to niche down, because it truly feels impossible, right? So let's break it down. Your brain, thrives on new challenges, dopamine. You get bored when confined to one thing, and the dopamine-driven shiny object syndrome is actually a survival skill. So let's break it down. Our brain thrives on new challenges. We love research. We love problem solving. So sitting down for hours, researching on a new topic and outlining new ideas and breaking them down and trying to solve the problems. And yes, if it gets complicated, this is when we shine. I get you. Okay. And then it's actually hard to turn this project into a real result, right? I got you. And this is, when we get bored. All of a sudden, we're like, I'm done. And you just feel like you want to run away from this thing. And then you literally get frustrated because you're like, oh, I did it again. Well, yes. And then there's a shiny object syndrome. There's already you haven't even started really with the actual current project, but there are already another 20 projects standing in the queue, right? Don't tell me that's not true. I know it is. So first of all, you need to kind of prime your mindset around this. First, think about, you basically want to not niche down, obviously, but you want to build an ecosystem of interconnected skills. That's what we want to build, okay? Now let's get to part 4 of this video, which is about finding your magic middle. That's a term I came up with. I love it because it literally describes us, okay? And maybe I'm slightly a Harry Potter fan, so the word magic gives me positive childhood vibes. So what is your magic middle? Well, you find your magic middle when you understand what you're truly passionate about. Let's skip the whole ikigai kind of thing, okay? Let's just focus on our magic middle. First, before we, talk about market demand and, healing the world, let's first of all heal ourselves. How about that? So we don't niche, we are the niche, but we also don't want to overwhelm others, algorithms, SEO or whatnot, but also we don't want to overwhelm ourselves. I bet the question you hate the most right now is, and what do you do? So what do you do? And you're like, fuck that question again. It's the most hated question by ADHDers and multi-passionates. Now let's talk about how to integrate your passions without burning out. Okay, shall we? Let's do this. So let's create a pillar system. You can choose 2 to 3 themes. Noticing I'm talking about themes and not topics. So a theme is more like an overall kind of view of something. So if you are let's say into spiritual stuff, you wouldn't say human design, which would be very specific. That would be its own topic. You would more talk about spiritual identification or healing, let's say. And we want to create an overlap of these themes. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say you have a big love for business, design, and tech. See, that's not just, one micro thing. Now, with this overlap, you could literally build a creative business around UX UI design. And you also don't have to do everything at once. Simply rotate your focus. You probably have not heard that before because I have not either. Okay, everyone is like, focus. This is how to focus. But rotate the focus, just rotate it. We gotta rotate. We have a lot of things we love. Don't just do the one thing, rotate. Okay, good. Because here's the honest truth, okay? People don't follow you doing one thing and being an expert in thing. Like, how boring is that? Have you ever built an emotional connection to someone just talking about how to grow on Instagram? Like, I don't want anything from that person, then just give me the tips. Give me the how-to videos. I don't build a connection. I'm not growing with this person. I wouldn't even notice I'm not seeing that person's content anymore on my feed because there are a million people on Instagram talking on how to grow on Instagram. So if that's your topic only, you will lose, especially in 2025, especially with the rise of AI. Like, we don't need you to just talk about one thing. Like, how boring do you want to be? Okay. And so a year and a half ago, I was still saying something in my online course, Candyland. Hey, I still agree. Like, if you pick one thing, you grow faster. That thing is already outdated. We updated it already. It's not like that anymore. In fact, if you put your own perspective into everything you do, this is how you grow. If you show us your flaws, your ups, your downs, this is when I build a real connection with you. And let's get to part 5 of this video, which is about embrace and monetize your multitude. So here's what I believe. Okay, we all have personal brands. It's just a question on how strong is it? Is it something I would like to be a part of? Are you building a movement? Is this something exciting? And I resonate with you in some sort. And so I truly believe if you want to build a business or even a career, regardless, you gotta build and focus on your personal brand. Your personal brand allows you to embrace it all. And the moment you embrace your multitude and you build the confidence around it, for me, it changed everything. That was the moment when people stopped doubting me with my multitude. Now, people like literally text me, be like, I love what you do. You're so inspiring. I finally feel seen and heard. There you go. Building a multi-passionate around who you are, but with strategy, it also gives you the allowance to explore multiple passions, multiple interests. And here's the good thing. The moment you have built a nice audience, but well, you should actually already start like right at the beginning, but you're able to monetize your multitude. You become financially independent by everything you love. Like, can we just repeat this one sentence? You can build financial independence by all the things that you love. But again, you need a clear messaging and a good strategy. So here's the thing, my love. You don't need a permission to be a multi-passionate, okay? The world is changing and we are the future. You don't have to niche down. You gotta know how to integrate. So if this whole thing resonated with you, drop in the comments below. I'm a multi-passionate and I'm proud. Let's embrace it. Let's normalize this together. And if you want to learn more about being a multi-passionate and embracing and monetizing your multitude, I have a free workshop for you in the description below. It's called Uncaged. Also, make sure you subscribe and for sure turn on the notification bell, because in the next video, we're actually talking about how you can turn your multiple passions into a profitable business without feeling scattered. See you then.